Welcome to The Debate. Today we are talking about a very real and very painful event. We are looking at the idea of public safety and what happens when it fails completely.
And I'm here to look at the people inside that failure. You know, the chaos, the split-second choices, and the amazing bravery that can sometimes appear when everything goes wrong.
We are discussing the tragedy at the Surajkund Mela fairground in Faridabad, a huge public fair, a place for fun, turned into a scene of just absolute disaster when a swing ride collapsed.
It is just a heartbreaking story. So many people injured, so much chaos, and, most tragically, a life was lost. And not just anyone, but a police officer who was running towards the danger.
And that brings us to the main question for today. Was this a systemic failure? I mean, a complete failure of safety and management from the top down? Or was this a tragic accident caused by one person's mistake, an accident defined by individual actions? I believe it was the system that failed.
I think that's maybe too simple. Machines can fail, people make mistakes. I argue that if we only blame the system, we miss the important details. We miss the specific mistake of the ride operator, and we miss the incredible bravery of the police inspector who lost his life. For me, this is a story about individuals.
Well, let's start with the facts, because the timeline itself tells a powerful story. It's Saturday evening. Around 6:15 p.m., the fair is full of people, families, kids. And then this ride, they call it a joyride, suddenly tilts and crashes.
The Faridabad Deputy Commissioner, Ayush Sinha, he was very specific. He said the ride was moving. It tilted first. That suggests a problem with balance or control before the main collapse.
Tilted and collapsed. I mean, just imagine hearing those words. This is a nightmare. We're not talking about a ride getting stuck. We're talking about a huge metal structure just falling. 13 people were injured right away.
The panic must have been. I can't even imagine.
But my anger isn't just about the ride falling. It's about the whole situation. You want to focus on individuals, but what about the unsafe place they were in? When you go to a fair, you expect the danger to be fake, a fun thrill, not a real death trap.
I understand that feeling. It's shocking when a place of fun becomes dangerous. But we have to be careful. Nobody wanted this to happen.
Wanting it to happen is not the point. The result is what matters. And here's my first big point. You call this a sudden, unpredictable accident with the swing. I am saying there were huge warning signs hours before that swing ever fell.
You're talking about the gate?
Exactly. This is the detail that changes everything for me. 1 hour before the swing collapsed, gate number 2, the main entrance to the fair, also collapsed.
That's true. I read that a man, Sumit Mohalatra, and a child were injured when that happened.
Right. So think about that. The fair's own structures are falling apart at 5 p.m. A gate falls on a man and a child, and the fair stays open? The rides keep going? That is unbelievable. If the front gate of a building falls down, you get everyone out. You don't keep the party going.
Moving swing are very different things. They were probably built by different people, managed by different teams.
But they are both managed by the same fair organizers. That is the system. The fact that they did not shut down the fair after the first collapse proves they cared more about money than about people's safety.
But is it that simple? If a gate falls, does that mean the swing operator is going to make a mistake an hour later? The news says authorities are looking at the joyride operator. An operator is the person who controls the machine. They think it was his fault.
That just feels like an easy way out. Blame the guy pushing the buttons. But if the gate falls, it suggests the safety inspections for the whole fair were bad, or maybe they never even happened. Why should we think the swing was checked any better than the gate was?
Because they are different things. The police are starting their investigation with the operator for a reason. They think he did something wrong with the controls. It's like if I crash my car, it's not the fault of the person who built the road. It's probably my fault as the driver.
That's not a good comparison. This is like driving a car in a building that is actively crumbling around you. The building is the problem. Keeping the fair open after the gate fell was a huge risk, a gamble with people's lives. And at 6:15 p.m., they lost that gamble.
I agree that keeping the fair open was a bad decision looking back, but I still think we have to look at the swing accident itself. It tilted. That points to issues with speed or balance, things the operator controls.
Or it points to a problem with the base of the ride. If the ground was not stable or if parts were loose, which makes sense if the gate also fell, a tilt is exactly what would happen.
Maybe. But for now, the investigation is focused on that operator. And that supports my view. This is about a specific person who failed. We can't just blame management when one person might have been careless with a dangerous machine.
Okay, we can come back to the cause because we need to talk about the human cost. We said 13 people were injured, but the death, that changes everything.
Yes. This is where, for me, the debate about systems becomes less important, and the story of one person's character takes over. We lost a police inspector.
And the report is just awful. It says he was declared brought dead. That's a very sad medical term. It means he died before he even reached the hospital. A part of the ride hit his face and head.
It's a terrible, violent way to die. But we have to look at what he was doing right before that moment. This is what defines the event for me. He didn't die because he was just standing there. He died because he was trying to rescue people.
He was doing his job.
It was more than a job. A job is directing traffic. When that giant machine started to fall, when people started screaming, everyone's first instinct is to run away. But he didn't run. He ran towards the danger to save others.
That is absolutely heroic. I will not argue with that.
He was trying to pull people out of the way. He put himself between the danger and other people. A safety rulebook can't teach you to do that. It's a tragic loss, but it's also very noble.
And this is where I get frustrated. Not with him, of course not. He's a hero. I get frustrated because we are supposed to feel better because he was a hero. His death could have been prevented. A police officer should not die being crushed by a carnival ride.
We don't feel better about it, but we can be in awe of it.
But do you see what I'm saying? If the system works, we don't need heroes to die like this. He should be at home with his family right now. Instead, he's a noble tragedy because the safety checks failed.
So you see his death as proof the system is broken? I see his actions as proof that the human spirit is strong. Even when things go terribly wrong, you can find the best of humanity. If we only talk about bad management, we forget the man who stood up when it counted the most.
That sounds nice, but it doesn't bring him back.
No, it doesn't, but it honors him. And it reminds us that safety isn't just rules on paper. It's also about people looking out for each other.
Okay, let's look at what happened next. The response. First, we have the official response from the government.
And then what really happened on the ground. They're very different.
The Haryana Chief Minister, Niab Singh Saini, said the usual things. He expressed grief, which means deep sadness, and deep condolences, which is a formal way of saying you're sorry someone died. He told officials to make sure the injured get good treatment. It's the standard political response.
It's formal, I agree, but it's also what needs to happen. The government has to say something, and making sure the 13 injured people get to a hospital is the right first step.
But it's all reactive. It's what you do after the disaster. It feels empty when you remember the gate fell an hour earlier. Where were the instructions then? Why didn't anyone care when the entrance collapsed?
You're skeptical of the officials, but look at what the eyewitnesses said. People who were actually there. The moment the ride crashed, it wasn't just the inspector. Regular people and other police officers rushed to help without caring about their safety.
That is powerful.
The community helping itself.
Exactly. While the politicians were writing statements, the people on the ground were pulling victims out of the broken metal. They didn't wait for an order, they just acted.
I'll give you that. In the middle of the crisis, the people saved each other. But now we need more than just helping hands. We need accountability. And that process is starting. An FIR is being registered. An FIR, a First Information Report, is basically a formal police complaint. It's the first step of an investigation.
But who is the complaint against?
The operator, the easiest person to blame.
It's the start of the investigation. They have to find out why the machine tilted. They have to talk to the operator. You can't just arrest the system. You have to find the specific person or part that failed.
I'm just afraid the investigation will stop there. They'll blame the operator and they'll forget about the managers who kept the fair open after the gate fell. They'll ignore the bad safety checks.
And my fear is that if we blame everyone, then really no one is responsible. If the operator was reckless, he needs to face justice. If we just say it was a systemic failure,
The individual who might have actually caused this could get away with it.
That's a fair point. But the organizers of the Surajkund Mela, they failed the people who came to their fair.
It seems like we agree on one thing. We both want justice. We just disagree on where to look for it first.
Yes. I want to look at the organizers. You want to look at the operator in the control booth.
Well, I want to start there, at least, because that's where the ride was controlled.
Let's just step back and remember how big this event is. The Surajkund Mela is not a small-town fair. Thousands and thousands of people go every year.
It's a famous cultural event. That's why this is so shocking. It's a place where people celebrate.
And that makes the failure even worse. When you go to a big official event, you trust that it's safe. You assume someone has checked the rides.
Trust is very easy to break.
And it is broken now. How can anyone go to that fair next year and feel safe on a ride?
It will take a long time, and it will take a very honest investigation. If they hide the truth, that trust will never come back.
Honesty is the most important thing now, and that honesty must include talking about the gate collapse. I can't let that go.
You are very focused on that gate.
Because it's the proof. It proves the whole place was not safe. If the final report doesn't mention the gate, then the whole investigation is a lie.
I suppose I have to agree with you on that. If they ignore the gate collapse, it would look very bad. The two accidents happened too close together. It shows the general atmosphere of the day.
The atmosphere was chaos, and families walked right into it.
And police officers.
We've covered a lot of difficult ground today. So as we finish, I just want to summarize my position.
Go ahead.
My view has not changed. The tragedy of the Surajkund Mela was not a random accident. It was a symptom of a sick system. A gate falls. An hour later, a ride falls. This is a pattern of negligence. We need to hold the management accountable, not just the low-level workers.
And I will say again that while safety is the most important thing, accidents can happen. This was a terrible tragedy, probably caused by one person's mistake. But for me, the story is not the broken metal, it's the unbroken spirit of the inspector and the crowd who rushed to help. We should demand justice, yes, but we should also honor the bravery we saw that day.
I think we both feel how heavy this is. It is a very sad day for Faridabad.
Absolutely. For the inspector's family and for the 13 people in the hospital, our debate about systems and individuals, it doesn't change their pain.
It's such a strange contrast. A joyride that ends in so much sadness. It really makes you question things.
And it makes you ask yourself what you would do in that situation. Would you run away or would you be like the inspector?
A very difficult question. We leave you with that. This has been The Debate. Thank you for listening.
Stay safe. Goodbye.